Right, good morning. We're here again. This time I'm with Alan Weedon-Luck from Boswell's Insurance. Welcome to you, Adam. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Peter. How are you?
Okay, very well, thank you. Give me your background with Boswell's, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, I've been with Alan Boswell for about 11 years, mainly working in the landlord's insurance side of it. For the last 2 years, though, I've been working in business development. We work with letting agents, dealing in rent guarantee, landlord insurance referral system. And that's what I've been doing for the last few years.
Okay, all right. We specifically want to talk today about rent guarantee, which is, very useful at the moment, and also referencing. So what is rent guarantee and what's the advantage to a landlord?
Okay, yeah. Rent guarantee is an insurance-based product, and it's taken out mainly by landlords and letting agents to protect themselves should a tenant fall into arrears or if they fail to make their rental commitments. Rent guarantees been very much in the public eye recently, and this has been brought into a spotlight because of the COVID-19. A lot of tenants are unable to meet their rental commitments and their financial obligations due to this COVID-19. So a lot of landlords and letting agents are very interested in rent guarantee at the moment. This behind this cover is to give landlords and letting agents a bit of peace of mind should the tenant fall into arrears and they need to still receive income to pay their commitments in this period. Should a tenant fall into arrears and still remain in the property, the rent guarantee insurance will provide the legal expenses to evict the tenant, issue a section notice, and also continue to make those rental payments for the landlord during the period, just so they can still receive an income and meet their own commitments of mortgages and that. All the costs, if you haven't got rent guarantee, can run into tens of thousands of pounds, and it's a very time consuming to go through the courts and can be quite stressful as well to get the tenants out of the property. So it is a very, very useful policy at the moment, which is very much in the public eye.
Yes, I mean, you say at the moment, has it changed much since COVID-19 came in? Or started?
Yeah,
Came is the wrong word, but...
yeah, previously landlords were a bit umming and ahhing about whether they wanted it. They didn't always see the benefit of it, but now actually you mention what it does and the cover it provides, and instantly, yeah, they say, yeah, that's a good idea. I should have done it previously.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the sort of things it's covered. I think it's worth mentioning. We've mentioned this a few times now in some of our discussions. Is that the government are very much pushing for landlords to do a special pre-action protocol, which has to be followed before they do go to court action. So I presume that you'll get involved in that when that eventually comes around.
Exactly, yes. So previously, rent guarantee used to just be an eviction-based policy. They fall into arrears, a section notice is issued, and they're evicted from the property. It's now been brought in mediation to try and keep a tenant in a tenancy to start with, so that the landlord and the tenant can come to some sort of lower payment arrangement to start with the tenant picking themselves back up later on in the period, which is better for everyone because it means the landlord will keep their tenant, the tenant will actually stay in the property, and everyone will actually get their money in the end as well. So it's actually a positive step for the policy.
Yes, definitely. And what triggers a claim?
Yeah, the claim is triggered by a tenant being 2 months in arrears. So if we use 1st of June as an example, the tenant will default 1st of June, the first payment, and then we ask that the landlord will then try and make contact with that tenant within 7 days and try to get those mediation steps to start with in process. Once the second payment is missed on the 31st day, effectively 32nd day, that's when the claim becomes valid and active upon the completion of a claims form and proves that they've all gone through referencing and that all the processes have been done, and the payment will then trigger around 10 days thereafter. But it's that 2 months in arrears that triggers the policy to be active, because that's what will trigger the section notice to be able to be issued.
Okay, and if I'm a landlord and want to take out rent guarantee insurance, I understand that I've got to get go through referencing for my tenants. Just talk me through that.
Yeah, so for the policy to be active, you need to have passed some referencing to get the tenant into the property. They don't just accept any tenant because they need to protect themselves. as well. So a tenant needs to be showing that they can earn 2.5 times on a rental amount. They need to afford 2 forms of ID, one with a photograph, so like a passport and a utility bill or something like that. And they also need to show that they're clear of CCJs and bankruptcies for the last 3 years. This isn't exclusive though, so if a tenant can't meet these criteria, they can get a guarantor in who can meet this criteria. That would also be accepted for rent guarantee. Just the guarantor needs to be earning 3 times of the rental amount rather than 2.5 times, just to be able to afford their own expenses as well.
And do you reference the guarantor, or you just take them at their word?
No, the guarantor does need to be referenced the same way as a tenant would have needed to be referenced as well.
Yeah, yeah. There's no point having a guarantor if they're a man of straw, is there? So
Exactly, that's right. Sometimes the question we'll get is, does a guarantor have to be a homeowner? That isn't a requirement. They don't have to be a homeowner as long as they're earning and enough money to be able to guarantor that rent. That would be fine.
Yeah, yeah. And do you take the guarantor? Is the wording for the guarantee for the duration of the insurance policy?
What's that, right?
So if you've got a guarantor, are they told that they're a guarantor for the duration of the policy? And if the policy is renewed, then what happens to the guarantor?
Yeah, so if there's a guarantor in place, there would need to be a guarantor for that whole 12 months. Yeah. Otherwise, the policy would be ineffective, really. And if they were to require to renew that policy, if they still can't meet the referencing requirement, they would still need that guarantor for the renewal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now that's all good stuff. And do you have any particular problems with people such as students or overseas tenants or anything like that?
No, these can be accepted. If it's overseas tenants, they do still need that UK guarantor, just to be able to protect them. Students, housing benefits, retired and self-employed tenants are all accepted on our policy as long as they can meet that requirement.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff, and I think it brings peace of mind to the landlord, especially at the moment. We know what's going on, but because I know at one stage. At the beginning of this crisis, you did stop rent guarantee, but I understand you've restarted it now.
Yeah, I think when it first happened, pretty much every insurer stopped for a period of around 6 weeks. It was just to take stock to make sure that they had the process in place to be able to deal with all the claims, and the cover was going to be there to protect the landlords. We have started, and a couple of other insurers have restarted their cover as well. A lot of covers, though, have been restricted, and a lot of prices have been increased, and I've heard of prices have been going up by 5-fold in some instances. In our policy, we've managed to still be competitive, so it's about £150, £175 per policy, and we're still providing nil excess. A lot of our competitors now provide a 2-month excess policy, but that nil excess is important because it could be 2, 3, 4 months before a landlord receives any money otherwise, and that could be too late for that landlord.
Yeah, well, we'll put up your website at the end of this, so people can contact you through that, and yep. Hopefully they can find out more information on that.
Yeah, more information's available on the internet, or if they wanted to give us a call, yeah, we can give that further information.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for that, Adam. For people watching this, your broadband's been a little bit jerky, but we've heard everything you said. It's just that your image is sort of leaping about all over the place. So thank you so much for your time, and then we'll catch up with you next time.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.